Thanks very much, Premier, and good morning, everyone. Just wanted to take you through the numbers from for yesterday. There are a total of 1,257 locally acquired cases of COVID reported to 8 o'clock last night, and there are 3 overseas acquired cases reported in the same period. There were 137,668 COVID tests reported yesterday, compared to 105,505 the day before. We have currently 1,189 people in hospital admitted with COVID. 222 people are in intensive care, 94 of whom require ventilation. Sadly, as the Premier mentioned, we've seen the deaths of 7 people yesterday. A man in his 90s from Dubbo who died at St Mary's Villa Aged Care Facility, where he acquired the infection, who was vaccinated and had underlying health conditions. A man in his 80s from Sydney's inner city died at St Vincent's Hospital. He was not vaccinated and had underlying health conditions. A woman in her 60s from southwestern Sydney died at Campbelltown Hospital. She was not vaccinated. A man in his 80s died at Nepean Hospital. He acquired his infection at the Hawkesbury Living Aged Care Facility in Sydney's northwest. And it's the second death, sadly, linked to this outbreak at this facility. He was vaccinated and had significant underlying health conditions. A man in his 90s from southwestern Sydney who died at Liverpool Hospital. He was vaccinated and had underlying health conditions. A woman in her 90s from South Sydney's inner west who died at Concord Hospital, was not vaccinated and had underlying health conditions. And a man in his 80s from southwestern Sydney who died at Sutherland Hospital, was vaccinated and had multiple underlying health conditions. We'd really like to express our deepest sympathies to the families and friends of these people who sadly died. There have now been 184 COVID-19 related deaths in New South Wales since the 16th of June 2021, and 240 deaths since the beginning of the pandemic. We've had a number of sewage detections identified in recent days in places where we have no known cases, so we're really urging people in these areas to come forward for testing if you have even the mildest of symptoms. And these are at Yass and Eden in the southern part of New South Wales, in Tamworth, in the heart of New England, in Dunbogan and Karua on the mid-north coast, in Juroa at Illawarra Shoalhaven, and Brooklyn in northern Sydney. So please, if you live in those communities or have been in those communities, come forward for testing right away with even the mildest of symptoms. Where the suburbs we're seeing most cases in at the moment continue to be in Sydney's west and southwest, notably Greenacre, Auburn, Yagoona, Liverpool, Punchbowl, Guildford, but also Redfern, as Bankstown, Condell Park and Busby. So I'm seeing increasing cases in the inner city, Redfern, Waterloo and so on. So we're really urging people who are living in these suburbs, as well as everywhere else, but particularly if you're in one of these suburbs with high levels of cases, please make sure that you're coming forward for vaccination, and make sure your family and friends are as well. Vaccination is our key to getting out of this. In Western New South Wales, we've had 12 cases of COVID reported yesterday, bringing the total number in the LHD, the local health district, to 978. Yesterday's numbers included 5 in Bathurst, 4 in Dubbo, 2 in Burke, and 1 in Walgett. There's an outbreak going on in Walgett, and we're concerned that people who have been in Walgett or live in nearby communities where there might have been contacts travelling to and from Walgett, to be particularly vigilant and come forward for testing, particularly concerned about Coonamble, and we've seen a call out for people to get tested in Coonamble just in case they've been exposed to the virus. Please come forward for testing if you live in those areas. In the far west, we've had 7 cases reported yesterday, with 4 in Broken Hill and 3 in Wilcannia. As the Premier mentioned, we've seen an upswing in cases in the Illawarra, Shoalhaven area, as well as in the Central Coast and Hunter areas over the weekend. So we're very concerned that people really need to hear those messages about getting tested, being alert for symptoms, maintain the COVID safe practices, and importantly, get a vaccine if you haven't already got one.